A mogul whose empire once soared above the rest is now crumbling under the weight of a staggering $60 million claim. This is the explosive twist that's forcing us to ask what dark secrets lie beneath Diddy's glittering legacy. Are you
afraid in some ways that he'll get out, that there'll be some sort of retribution? Oh yeah. Yeah, even doing this, it's like, maybe I shouldn't say, maybe I should stop talking, shut up, but it's like, well, not talking hasn't changed anything either.
Dee Woods was a rising star. Her promising career launched by music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
He is looked at as a hero of our community, and myself included, I looked up to him too, So a lot of people don't want to believe that their hero can be this other person.
But now the former Danity Kane member is joining a chorus of voices speaking out against him, saying she felt Diddy created a verbally abusive work environment.
I'm curious why you decided to speak up now. I would say that this moment now is a time where I feel like my experience, my truth will really be heard and actually considered and believed.
While the world watched her climb the charts with hits like Showstopper, and Damaged,
the situation's driving me crazy.
Dee Woods says she was living in fear under the glare of reality TV cameras on Making the Band.
For decades, Sean Diddy Combs built an empire on music style and relentless ambition, but now new lawsuits are flooding in following the closure of New York City's Gender-Motivated Violence Act legal window on February 28th. Among the most explosive claims is one filed by Sarah Rivers, a former contestant on his hit show, Making the Band. Rivers' 148-page complaint, now making waves in federal court, alleges inhumane treatment that left her with extreme emotional distress affecting every aspect of her life. How did a promising career on a celebrated platform turn into nightmare of control and humiliation? And can the titan of the music industry truly withstand such a relentless barrage of allegations?
Diddy's ex-Making the Band singer Sarah Rivers is coming at his neck in a new lawsuit, and the allegations stem from her time on the popular MTV series. In a sprawling lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Sarah claims that Diddy subjected her to mistreatment, which wound up becoming content for millions to see on TV. Now, here's the thing. I agree. Diddy was unhinged. He was a maniac. He was maniacal on Making of the Band. The suit filed by attorney Ariel Mitchell. Listen, the suit filed by attorney Ariel Mitchell on behalf of Sarah Rivers cites the infamous cheesecake from the Making of the Band 2, where she and the rest of the band had to walk several blocks to get Diddy a sweet treat as one of the numerous incidents of abuse. She also complains of being forced to sleep in an open bay with 4 other males despite the fact that she was married at the time, and said she was threatened by being ousted if she didn't comply. Okay, Sarah, you got a case. The suit also names MTV, Viacom, and several ex-Bad Boy employees who had a profile on the series at the time, including Diddy's mother, Janice, and ex-assistant Farnsworth Bentley. What? Sarah goes on to allege that Diddy acted maliciously and recklessly with her career by publicly dismantling the group while pocketing most of her show money.
Yo, fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store in Brooklyn and bring him back a cheesecake and walk.
He say what?
To see me on TV, some punk ass bitch, yo, it's crazy. If I walk to Brooklyn, I'm going to home. That's where I live, y'all. I'm not walking. Brooklyn is crazy.
Yo, it's called Making the Bitch, not Making the Band. I said we go back and tell him we ain't doing it.
Got too much respect for him to do that.
It's slave labor right here, man.
It is, but hey, yo, if you're the captain, bro, whatever you do, I'm with.
I mean, come on, man. Everybody got to be with me, though. I'm with you.
I'm with you.
Yo, I'm with you. To the end of this shit, man. So what they gonna tell me? They gonna tell me to y'all stay there and then what? Nah, I ain't staying. I'm not staying. I'm not staying. He dropped you, he dropped me, he dropped all of us, yo.
The worst come the worst, my peoples come first.
I got you.
My peoples come first.
All right, I gotta go, Tony.
According to Rivers, the experience on Making the Band was not just challenging, it was a daily ordeal. She claims that her eating and sleeping schedule was rigidly controlled, and despite being married, she was forced to share a room with 4 men. Rivers' account of uncompensated manual labor and relentless mockery about her appearance paints a picture of a set where dignity was sacrificed for profit. The complaint even accuses Diddy of undermining her music career by sabotaging record deals for years. Perhaps the most shocking allegation comes from an incident where, as she recounts, Diddy used his left hand to adjust the collar of her jacket and then ran his left hand across her breast while repeating the phrase, "If you need anything, let me know."
Nearly 150-page filing, Sarah Rivers, then known as Sarah Stokes, describes an awful and terrifying experience being a contestant, only for it to get worse when she actually made the band. Now, the lawsuit includes allegations of sexual harassment, forcible touching, and when she told Diddy no, well, he allegedly fired her and blacklisted her from the music industry.
Sarah Rivers named nearly 30 defendants in her lawsuit beyond Diddy. It named former Bad Boy Records president Harv Pierre, Diddy's former assistants like Farnsworth Bentley, Making the Band boot camp instructors, dance choreographers, Diddy's mom Janice Combs, Paramount, Viacom, MTV, and more. According to the filing, defendants Lou Pearlman, Burr & Murray Productions, MTV, and UMG offered Diddy the show to repair his image after the 2001 criminal trial where his former protege Shine was sentenced to a decade in prison. So I mentioned the complaint is nearly 150 pages. The start of the complaint lists out all the defendants and mainly their ties to Diddy, so that took up more than 20 pages. Then from page 26 to 74, it describes every single episode of the show Sarah was on, from episode 1 where Sarah the plaintiff meets Diddy, then episode 3 where the contestants enter the Bad Boy boot camp to make the group, and from Sarah's complaint, it sounded like boot camp was from HE double hockey sticks. The complaint alleges Diddy eliminated contestants for complaining about not being fed. Only the female contestants were made to dance for or do choreography for Diddy. Plus, don't even think about crying or you're out of boot camp and not making the group. From there, it was more allegations of depriving the group of food, comments about Sarah's body and how she needed to get firmed up. The filing says Sarah was the only one Diddy scrutinized in a sexual and humiliating manner. Sarah alleges one instance where she was recording in the studio. Diddy saw her walking through the hallways and backed her up against the corner, preventing her from moving. He then allegedly got so close to her where he could kiss her, and then asked her if she was doing okay and needed anything. According to the complaint, Diddy ran his hands across her breast. Sarah describes being frozen in confusion and fear. Then when Diddy went back to the studio, she walked as fast as she could away from him and left. Now, if you watch the show, you know how it ended. The group was made and it was called The Band, but by the end of season 2 of the show, Diddy dismantled it. But Sarah alleges her rejecting Diddy's advances and refusal to pose for Playboy led him to fire her and disband the whole group. Sarah alleges Diddy was in breach of contract and never received any composition rights or credit for the songs used on season 2 and season 3 of Making the Band. She says the group was only given $5,000 in cash after tour performances. The only time she actually got a check was when she said she was pressured to sign to a publishing agreement with the company owned by Diddy's mom Janice. So in exchange for her signature, she claims she got a one-time payment of $25,000. And sure, $25,000 sounds like a lot, but not for years worth of work and filming all day and all night from 2002 to 2000.
Diddy's legal team, however, dismissed these allegations with a defiant statement. This is yet another example of false claims being filed against Mr. Combs, they declared, insisting that he has never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone regardless of gender or age. They argue that in today's world, anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason, and that these last-minute claims are merely opportunistic moves as the legal window expires. As the courtroom battles intensify, one can't help but wonder if this stir of lawsuits is part of a calculated effort to dismantle an icon's legacy.
The allegations against him. And when it comes to Sarah's lawsuit specifically, his legal rep said, quote, "This is yet another example of false claims being filed against Mr. Combs. No matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted or sex trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason. With the deadline for New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Act expiring tomorrow, it's clear that opportunists are rushing to file last-minute meritless claims. Mr. Combs remains confident he will prevail in court."
Elizabeth, I wasn't surprised that we saw lawsuits filed on the last day. Of course, the window is closing, so if anyone didn't file, they're probably going to be prevented from filing unless another state ends up opening the statute of limitations, or a city like New York did. So the fact that we're seeing these last-minute lawsuits is something that's typical. The fact that we saw so many is atypical, but of course we're dealing with someone who is facing dozens and dozens of lawsuits already.
And just before we get into more of this complaint, talk to me a little bit about how powerful that look-back window was that really allowed a lot of Diddy's alleged victims to file complaints and lawsuits against him, given that the statute of limitations in other cases would have been expired.
Elizabeth, it's really powerful, and with sex abuse and sexual assault, there's been a lot more recognition, and what legislatures have done is they've opened up these statute of limitations. It really started actually with the Catholic Church and the sex abuse cases, and what they tried to do is open the statute of limitations for both criminal and civil. The criminal was struck down as unconstitutional, a violation of the ex post facto clause, but these civil statute of limitations, because we're just talking about money, these windows, these openings, they have been allowed. And in Diddy's case, first it was New York State, and now New York City, and now both of those windows have closed. So unless someplace like California or Florida or someplace where sexual assault happened, someone can file a claim there, this is probably going to be the end of the road for most of the Diddy claims, at least certainly in.
Yet Rivers' suit is not an isolated episode. It emerges amidst a swirl of controversy, with headlines even suggesting that Diddy confessed to ordering Tupac's murder after a male sex worker, a claim as shocking as it is hard to digest. Additional legal documents have implicated grand jury witness Courtney Burgess and media conglomerate Nexstar in a web of alleged defamation and fabrication, accusing them of spreading falsehoods about the mogul, with Rivers' attorney Ariel Mitchell, who has himself been embroiled in legal battles with Diddy. Before taking a stand, the narrative is expanding into a full-blown expose of abuse, manipulation, and power abuse.
In Orinda apartment in 2018.
Very savage gang rape.
A woman claims to have met Diddy over FaceTime in 2018 after running into one of his friends at a bar. During that conversation, her attorney said the woman made a comment that upset the rapper.
Told Mr. Combs she believed he had something to do with Tupac's murder, so she wasn't interested or impressed with seeing him.
The lawsuit says a month later, Diddy's friend allegedly set her up to be raped by Diddy in Orinda, where she said she was drugged and threatened with a knife, and Diddy said she would pay for her statements about Tupac during the video call. The lawsuit says that while violently raping the woman, the rapper told her her life was in his hands, and that if he wanted, he would take her, and she would never be seen again. According to her attorney, the woman was raped by other men as well, and despite being drugged, she was able to escape. On her way out, telling Diddy she did not party with him and did not enjoy partying with him, and that he raped her. The lawsuit claims neighbors in the area called police.
Contra Costa sheriff came out to the neighbor's home at the time of the incident, because several police reports appearing, 911 calls allegedly were made.
According to the lawsuit, several weeks after the rape, the accuser went to the hospital because she was still in pain. The lawsuit claims hospital personnel called Walnut Creek police, who took a statement from the accuser. This time, she said she did not want to name Diddy. She says she was afraid that she wouldn't be believed and that later on, the rapper would harm her.
New witness before the grand jury in the Sean Diddy Combs case. Courtney Burgess, former associate of Kim Porter, that's Diddy's ex-girlfriend, mother to 4 of his children, and unfortunately, the woman we've seen in the video. The allegation, he has seen, that's Cassie, not Kim Porter. Cassie's the one we saw in the video. It's hard to keep them straight, let's be honest. All right, so he has seen, which I think is the key word in this story, salacious videos of Diddy and celebrities engaged in sex acts, including with underage victims. He also alleges to have the unedited version of Kim Porter's diary. True? What's the chance? And if so, so what? We know many lawsuits have been filed against Combs, alleging abuse. Many of them, to this point, have been anonymous. Now, there is a reason that people are often allowed to allege and be anonymous. However, a judge ruled that a woman who anonymously sued Combs this month for rape must reveal her name on her lawsuit, or it will be tossed out. The lawsuit alleges Combs raped her in 2004 at a party in a Manhattan hotel. She was 19, college student, also allegedly ordered her to perform oral sex, or else he would have them both killed, her and a friend. Otherwise, he would have them both